Honestly, look, I have nothing against touchscreens, but I don't want to go through like 5 screens to get to where I need to go. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we get a 2023 BMW 330i with xDrive. Of course, once again, this is Morty. We're gonna be taking this out for a test drive and gonna give you my honest impression of this vehicle. This is what our key looks like. Let's do a quick little cold start if we can. No, we cannot. But let's look at our trunk space. Decent amount of trunk space in this one. And we get the chance. Hopping into the back, you get a view of our gigantic front steering wheel over there. Tons of leg room. Nice leather seats all around. And we also get this. A fancy little cup holder. We don't have heated or ventilated seats here in the back, but we do have 2 ports to charge your phones or any other device you may have. And before we hop into the front, let me show you the engine of this baby. This is our little powerhouse right now. This is like inline 4 with some turbos attached to it, pushing 255 horsepower and 295 maximum output of torque. And this is what we're driving today. BMW logo. The grills are blocked off, so they're not really functional at all, but then again, tomato. Look at the cool little animation. Close the door, and this is how it sounds when we switch it on. Very, very nice vehicle. Put this thing in sport mode. Press the home screen. If you guys can barely hear it, you can hear the pops. Alright, so I realized my GoPro stopped recording halfway through my review. So, okay, we've done a walkout, we've done everything. Let's quickly do some dynamic driving with this thing. And since we're in a residential area, first things first, we're gonna be in comfort mode. Because there's no need for all 255 horsepower. When we're in a residential area like this, there's really just no need. And as we are driving, this thing is very stable and really wants to absorb pretty much everything on the road. Of course, you're paying like almost, I want to say up to 40k at least for a BMW of this caliber. So you do expect just a little bit of luxury when you're in it. Still very decent pick up and go when you are in regular mode, but let's quickly put it in sports configurations. This is dynamic. Our traction control will still be on and everything like that. It just basically engages the transmission and makes it a little bit more responsive and a bit more aggressive, staying in its power band just for a little bit longer. But we're going from 40. Let's see how quickly we can accelerate before we, I don't know. And we brake. Brakes are very confident. This thing accelerates fast and quickly brakes at the same time too, which is nice. And it sounds relatively decent. It doesn't sound like anything crazy, but sounds really good. I don't hate it, I don't love it, but it just sounds decent. It sounds good. And the handling of this thing too. This thing seems so planted to the ground, like the grip, all 4 tires. Again, this is xDrive, so all 4 tires are firmly planted onto the road to the point where doing something like this feels like child's play. Like, it's so smooth like butter that I'm pretty sure I can throw this thing into a corner. It won't drift. It might skid a little, but it's gonna remain very, very planted, and that to me is a gigantic flex. At least in my opinion, because, bro, this thing is sick. And let's quickly find our performance pages. Go to car. And let's go driving information. Let's go to sport displays. So yeah, this is what our sports displays looks like. I think I might have covered this, but again, in case I didn't, if I decide to mod this car up, it will reach up to 320 horsepower, 320 foot-pounds of torque. If I decide to mod it up. But again, since we're gonna be staying stock with this one, very responsive and very stable vehicle. Arguably one of my favorite BMWs to drive, especially for a base model. You honestly can't beat any other vehicle for a base price like this one. Just because of how much base model performance you basically get. Oh, and since our gas is getting low, it's suggesting me to get some fuel. Which is actually pretty cool. Okay. Pretty nice. We have 90 kilometers left in the tank. And let's just go over our... So the buttons over here, this side is going to be in charge of radio and infotainment. This one is going to be in charge of cruise control and most likely... Yeah, it looks like it's just in charge of cruise control, which I'm not going to engage as of yet. The heated steering wheel is very, very nice. But overall, it's a very decent and very simple vehicle. But then again, it is a BMW, so you win some, you lose some every time. But let me quickly find somewhere to make a U-turn, because where I'm going there is no exit. Acceleration test. And brake. 0 to 60 comes in very, very quickly. Now let's do a quick little 3-point turn. Boom. Sounds like it almost hesitates just a little bit when you step on the gas. Just ever so slightly hesitates. Which again is not a bad thing. This is only like 255 horsepower. So of course I'm not going to be expecting it to be crazy. Let's put some music in the background. I don't like that song, never mind. But anyway, it is still a very, very nice vehicle. Too bad that we don't have, too bad the 335i got discontinued. That would have been a great vehicle. And knowing most people who buy the 330i, they're gonna most likely tune it and get some downpipe pipes and get it to make some pops and cackles. Which again, more power to you, but this is not the kind of car you want to be modding up like that. This thing feels comfortable at high speeds. But then again, you quickly find the limits of this car, because in a turn like this, yes, it is stable, but you know you shouldn't be doing something like this in a car like this, basically. Yes, it's gonna try its best. It's gonna be a BMW, it's gonna do BMW things, but it's not gonna just simply breeze through a corner like it's a M3 or an M car. This is just meant to be a simple daily commuter car that's gonna be decent on gas, very good on gas actually, and also very kind of sporty to have. Because if this is your first BMW, you're gonna be in good hands. You're gonna keep wanting more, that's the thing. Because this is the base model, and there's so much in this base model already that now you basically want to get the higher model trims, basically. Because if a base model gives you all this, just imagine how much, let's say, an M3 could give you. Just food for thought, basically, food for thought. But honestly, I would give this car like, well, in terms of reliability as well too, like if I wanted to give this car a rating, we'd also have to think of the reliability that we keep hearing how notorious BMW is. Like the memes would say, BMW stands for break my wallet or bring my wallet. That's what BMW would stand for. But these ones are a little bit more reliable compared to the older generations too. So I would have to give it a solid 8 out of 10. just because of how this thing handles and just how much you get for it, essentially. Because you get a lot of car for this thing, man. Ain't gonna lie, you get a lot of car. And since we're still in sport, the thing I realized is that the second you let off the gas, you feel the transmission let off almost instantly, if that's the proper way to explain it. Like it's like then boom, just slowly slows you down. Well, not slowly slows you down, it's like you'll feel the instant that you lost all power, and it doesn't. I don't know, it's very hard to explain basically. But then that's just me nitpicking on this car.